first grade, so today we are going to work on how color affects a feeling, or how we can use color to represent a feeling. And so our learning objective is to understand how artists use color to create emotion. Emotion and feeling mean the same thing. So our objective is to understand how artists use color to create an emotion or a feeling, and understand that artists express their emotions through color. And we're going to be able to use our materials and media and tools with control, and we're going to explore color. So we read the book, The Way I Feel by Jana Kane, and in the book it talks about and shows us lots of different feelings, and then there are colors, different colors for each feeling. So silly here has a whole bunch of colors. Scared, more of purples and blues and blacks. Disappointed, you have lots of greens and browns. Sad, we've got blues and greens. Angry, lots of reds and oranges. So with each emotion, colors can represent those emotions. Here with bored, we have lots of browns. So I want you to pick an emotion that you want to represent, and we're going to create a face. And this is an example of a mad face, and this is an example of a sad face. So we looked at Pixar's story Inside Out, and we talked about the different characters, how disgust is green, and fear, sad was blue, and happy was yellow, and mad was red. And we're going to create a face using the colors and facial expressions to show that feeling or emotion. So the way that you're going to start is you're going to choose the emotion that you want to do, and you're going to choose from a large piece of paper, one large piece of paper with the color that you want to do. So I'm going to do happy, but I'm also going to show you how to do other faces and how to use the other patterns. So I'm going to get this black paper out just to show you some of those other emotions and how you would create those faces as we go along. So the first thing you're going to do is choose the shape of your face. And I have a couple of different shapes. I have this shape that's kind of straight on the sides, or I have this shape that's more rounded and ovalish. And you're going to choose whichever one that you want, and you're going to trace that onto your paper and cut it out. And you need to know the top from the bottom. So the curved part is the chin, the pointy part is the chin. So make sure that you remember where the top is and where the bottom is. And you're going to recycle your scraps when you're finished. And when I cut out, I always try to make sure I cut the pencil lines off. So I try to cut just inside the pencil lines so I don't have to worry about those, and I don't have to erase those later. And then you need to write your name on your face and the day you have art. Day A, day B, day C. You're going to flip it over. And the first feature that we're going to do today is a nose. So you want to dig through the basket and find a nose shape. And I've written what they are on them so that hopefully that will be able to help you. And since I'm doing happy, I need to look for, I'm going to try and stick with some yellows and maybe some oranges to represent happy. So I'm going to get an orange paper, and I'm going to trace the nose shape. I'm not going to put the nose in the middle because I want to use this orange paper later. So I put the nose over to the side, and I'm going to trace around it. Now the nose shape is the same for all faces. So every single person is going to get the same nose shape, and they're going to choose a small paper, and they're going to cut their nose shape out, and you're going to cut those pencil lines right off the nose shape. And you're not going to recycle this scrap. So I know when we cut our faces out, we recycled that scrap. But now we're going to use this scrap later for some eyebrows or some ears. So the nose is the first thing that we cut out. And you might notice I haven't glued it down yet. So then the next thing we're going to do are eyes. So you want to dig through the basket and find the eyes. So this one, his shape says surprised mouth. So that's not at all what I need. Here's a mad eyebrow. Surprised eye. I don't need a surprised eye, but I'm going to get that out because I want to show you some of the eyes. Okay, this one says sad eye. Happy eye. I need that. And this one says mad eye. So you can see we have 4 different eyes. Surprised eye, mad eye, happy eye, and sad eye. If you're doing disgust or bored or something like that, you're going to need to pick an eye that you think best represents that feeling. The other thing that everyone's going to need, no matter what eye shape you choose, is you need this circle that says all eyes. Everybody needs that. So these larger shapes, you're going to cut out of white paper. And the way that you do that is you take your white paper and you fold it in half. Only one white paper, you don't need two. And you're going to take your pattern and trace around it on the folded paper. All these shapes will fit on a half sheet, and that's going to save us from wasting too much white paper. So you only get one piece. Cut the pencil lines off. So cut right inside the pencil lines. And this is a happy eye, so it's going to go like this, kind of squinty and happy. Okay, and then I want to cut the rest of these out real fast so that I can show you how you would place those on the face. So for the circle in your eye, you're going to choose a color. Another second piece of small colored paper. Maybe you would use this for your eyes if you want, but I don't want orange eyes. I want this darker yellow eye. So I'm going to fold my paper in half. I'm going to take this circle and trace around it. Just like with the eyes, we fold our paper in half. We only get one paper, not two. We fold it in half, and then we cut two circles out at the same time. And then these get set inside the eyes like that. And see, it's starting to look like eyes. So I wanted to show you, this is what sad eyes look like. Remember how they're kind of droopy. So then that's where you would put the circles on this. Surprised eyes are big and wide, so your circles would go there. Or mad eyes kind of droop down, squint down, and your eyes would go there. Okay? So now we need to do eyebrows. Now I haven't glued anything down yet because I want to make sure I have enough room for everything. So I'm done with these eye shapes. Now I need to get eyebrow shapes out. Here's a surprised eyebrow. Here's a mad eyebrow, a sad eyebrow. And we do not have a happy eyebrow. So what I've told people to do in the past is to use the mad eyebrow for happy, or actually use the sad eyebrow for happy eyebrow too. So you're going to choose a color. I'm going to use orange because I want to use some of my scraps. So I'm going to use orange for the eyebrows, and since I'm doing a happy face, I'm going to use a sad eyebrow to trace around. I know that sounds kind of different, but look, I've taken what's left over in my orange and I folded it over in half, and I'm tracing the eyebrow shape on here. So then when I cut, I get two eyebrows, and I'm using my scrap, and I'm not being wasteful and getting another piece of paper. And then instead of the sad eyebrows getting glued like this for sad, they would go like that. You glue them like this for happy. And you could actually make them kind of go up a little bit to make them look happy. Okay? And then the mad eyebrows, they would go down like this and match the eye. And then the surprised eyebrow would go up over the surprised eye like that. Like, whoa, that's really surprised. Okay? So that's how you would do the eyebrows. So now we're going to do the mouth. So we have a happy mouth, which I need that. We have a surprised mouth. And we have a mad mouth. We do not have a sad mouth because you can just draw a frown. So sometimes, like let's say you're doing bored, these mouths won't work. You would just probably draw a straight line across for bored. If you're doing disgust, you could use mad, but you might just do like a wavy line for disgust. But since I'm doing a happy, I need happy mouth, so I need white. So since I'll get another white piece of paper. I'm gonna save me some time and push the mouth up against the edge. And then I'm gonna cut this shape out. Very carefully, cutting the pencil lines off there. And then this would go here. And see, that's a nice big smile. Now if you're doing a mad mouth, you need white for a mad mouth because they're kind of gritting their teeth. And so you would trace the mad mouth and you would cut that out. And so these are the mad eyes. We'll move those out of the way. These are the mad eyes. And this would be the mad mouth. Now if you're doing surprised, it wouldn't be white. You would want to use black paper for surprised because the mouth is open. So for surprised mouth, you would use black paper and you would trace around the big open mouth of surprised. And then you would cut this out, cutting the pencil lines off. And since surprised goes together, it would go like this. Surprised, eyes, and then the mouth would be open. The nose would go between like that. So that's how you would do surprised. Okay? So now that I have all my facial features cut out, I want to do the black marker next before I glue, because I don't want to glue and then get black marker on the tip of, or glue on my black marker tip. It'll ruin my marker. So what you're going to use the black marker for is you're going to draw a black dot in each of the colored circle eyes. And then for the teeth, you're just going to draw some vertical lines that go down. And make sure you use a marker that works, that's nice and black and juicy. Don't use a marker that's dry and faded. For the mad mouth, you would draw lines that go across, up and down, vertical like this. And then you would draw a straight line going across like that. And that would be your mad mouth. Now that all my facial features are cut out, and I've done my marker, now I glue. So I lay them down and make sure they fit. If your eyebrows hang off the side of your face, like I know sad eyebrows tend to hang off the side, that's okay, they can hang off. So I'm going to glue my mouth down first. When you glue your features down, do a frame of glue. And there is my face, but I have forgotten ears. So I have my scrap left over. I'm going to use my scrap. It's folded in half, so I'm going to cut a hill out. You don't want tiny little ears because those are hard to glue on and they don't show up. So you want good big hills. And then you're going to put a line of glue on the straight side of the ear, and then you just lift the face up and slide the ear on the side of the face, just like that. So now there's my happy face. So now I need to do hair. Now you can do hair like this where we do strips, and I'll show you how to do that in a little while. Or you can do solid hair like this. And this is made up of two pieces. We have a back piece and then we have a front piece. And I've made some patterns for you for hair. So I have this hair here, and I've numbered them so that you know what goes together. So this is the number 3 on it. So this number 3 top goes with this number 3 back. And so then if I were going to use this pattern, the hair would go on like this. I would cut out from another big piece of paper, and then this would go on top like that. But I don't think I like that hair for happy. It looks more to me like mad or surprised. So then I have this hair, and this one has a number 2 on it, and it matches with this number 2. So you know these two pieces go together. The big piece goes in the back, and the small piece goes on front. And I kind of like that for happy. But I want to show you the other one, which is the one I used for sad. And this has a number 1 on it, and the number 1 for the back that goes together. And then this goes, if you're going to use these patterns, they would go behind the head like this, and then this would go on top like that. Okay, so I'm going to use the number 2 pattern here. And I need a large paper. If I'm doing my hair like this, I need a large paper. If I'm doing the strip hair, then I need the small paper. So for this, I need a large paper. So I'm going to look through my stack of large paper for a color of hair that I want to go with happy. And I think I want to use orange hair again. Or no, you know what? Maybe I'll use, no, yeah, I want to use orange hair for happy. Okay. So try to use just one large piece of paper. So see what you can do. See if you can fit the big pattern and the small pattern on there. And it looks like I can. I just have to be real strategic about it. So I take this straight end and I line it up with the bottom of the blue paper. And I'm going to cut these out. When I cut, I'm cutting the pencil lines off. So I'm cutting right inside the pencil lines because I don't want to see them on my artwork. I want to make sure that you don't accidentally put this on upside down. Cycle your scraps. And what you want to do is you want to flip your face over and you want to do a frame of glue from above the ears up. Just like this. And then you're going to lay this on top of your blue pattern. Or your hair pattern, I'm sorry. And I try to make sure that the hair kind of comes down and gets close to the ears because that looks more realistic. And so now this is going to go over the top like that. So I'm going to put glue, frame of glue, flip it over, and add this to the top. And if I were going to do strips, I would get the small turquoise paper because I don't need the big one. That would be wasteful. And what I'm going to do, and I'll just show you what you would do with strips, is I'm going to cut out some strips from this small paper. And if you need 2 of these small papers, help yourself. You can have 2. You don't have to just be stuck with 1. But you're going to cut out some strips from this paper, and you're going to glue them on around the top. Now, you could glue it on like this, but do you think this hair fits with sad face? I don't think it fits. I think that maybe that would be more for an excited or surprised face, this kind of straight up hair. So I would want my hair to be kind of droopy, maybe curly. So what I need to do is take a marker and take the paper and twist it around the marker. And this is how you could curl it, by twisting it around the marker, all the way around, squeeze it, then pull it off, and then you have a curl. And you can kind of pull on the curl and make it a little bit bigger. So you could do curls, or if you don't want to do curls, you could do zigzags, where you kind of fold them back and forth, back and forth, back and forth like this, and then you could do zigzags for your hair. But I think I'm going to do curls. Do these around the top of my head. And I would want them to touch. I wouldn't want to leave big spaces. So I think I would need 2 of these little turquoise papers to get a nice full head of hair around the top of the head. So that's one way that you could do it, is with strips. So I'm saving time by taking 2 pink papers, stacking them together, and cutting out the strips. So I'm cutting 2 strips out at the same time. Now I'm taking 2 strips and folding them in a zigzag at the same time and then pulling them apart. And it just saves me from doing it individually each time. Okay, and then I'm just going to put a line of glue across the top of the head. And I'm going to start in the middle so that I can make sure it's symmetrical. Same on both sides. All right, and there's my finished mad face, showing the feeling or emotion of mad using colors that represent mad, red. Hello first grade, so now that we finished our expressive colored face, we're going to now add a background to put our face onto it. And we're going to write the name of our emotion or feeling down here at the bottom of the frame. So the way that we're going to start is you're going to start with a black or white piece of paper, a big black paper or a big white paper. And you need to decide which one you want to use. So you could take your face and lay it down and look at it and see which one you like better. I'm going to do white since my sad face I did on black paper. I'm going to do white on this one so that I have an example of both colors. So since I'm doing white, the first thing I want to do is take a black crayon and write my name and the day I have art. Day A, day B, day C. I'm going to flip it over. And now I need to start working on my picture frame. And so my frame needs to be the black paper. Since my base paper is white, it needs to be black. And I have strips, shorter strips and longer strips. You need 2 short strips and 2 long strips of the same color, but that color should be different than the main paper that you picked, that large paper. The color should be different. So if I chose black paper, I would use white strips. Since I chose the white paper, I'm using black strips. And the short strips are the ones that go at the top and bottom of the frame. So that's where you're going to write your feeling that you showed. And if you have black, you're going to use a white crayon. If you have white, you're using a black crayon. So on my sad, I used a black crayon because I had white frame. So I did an angry or mad face. So I'm going to write mad in my best handwriting so everyone can read it. I print it. I don't try to write it in cursive. I print it nice and neat. And now I need to decide what kind of pattern do I want to do to jazz up my frame and make it look great. And so on my sad frame, I just use black stripes. Very simple. I think on this one I'm going to do broken lines at the top and bottom of the frame. So I'm using the white crayon. I'm not even drawing it in pencil first because I know I can draw a nice, neat, broken line over and over again, and that makes a nice pattern. So I need to do the same pattern on all 4 strips. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is glue my top and bottom frame down. And when I glue that down, I'm going to put a line of glue on the big paper. I'm not going to put it on the skinny paper because then I'll get glue all over my hands. So I just draw a line of glue across the bottom, and I take my strip with the name of my feeling on it, and I line it up with the bottom edge. It shouldn't be crooked. You shouldn't be able to see that other color down there, so it needs to come down all the way. And then at the tippy top of my paper, another line of glue. And then I line this up and make sure it's not crooked. Push it up until I can't see the white anymore. And then the same on both sides. A line of glue from top to bottom. Now I may not have cut the strips exactly straight, so they may be a little crooked or curved, so you might need to scoot it over, and it might hang off the edge of your white paper or your base paper just a little bit, and that's okay if it hangs off, as long as it's not crooked and you don't see the base paper underneath. So I'll just show you. If I flip this over, you can see my blacks hanging off here and here, and that's okay because I don't want to see the white on the outer edge of the frame. So there's my frame. And I don't want to, and you could just glue your face down now, but I want your face to stick up and be 3D. So we're going to use what I like to call pop dots, where we make them ourselves and then make some pop up. And what you're going to do is take some cardboard scrap and you're going to cut it into rectangles. You probably need 6 or 8 of them. And they should be about the same size. And you want a good chunk. You want a good chunk of cardboard, not a tiny little piece. You're going to flip your face over and you're going to put the pop dots on the back, the cardboard pieces on the back. So I'm going to do 4 dots, and I'm going to take and press the cardboard into the dot, and I'm making sure the cardboard isn't sticking off the side of the face because that just wouldn't look very nice. Now I could glue it down like this, but I want it to pop up a little bit more than that, so I'm going to put a second layer of cardboard on here. So that's why you need 6 or 8. So if I were using 6, I would do 2 at the top and 1 down here by the chin, but I'm doing 8, so I do 4 and 4. So now you take the second piece of cardboard and just squish it right on top of the first, and then a dot of glue on the top of each of these last pieces. And I'm being fairly generous with the glue, a nice bead of glue, a nice dot of glue so that it'll stay stuck. And now I'm going to flip this over very carefully and glue this onto my frame paper. Now I can glue it straight up and down like this, or I could make it crooked a little bit. I think I'm going to make it crooked. And the hair is going to stick up off the frame, and that's okay. And you're going to set it down gently. Set it down, and then very gently take your hands and just press the cardboard pieces just gently, just straight down, because they're really wet and they're going to slide. The cardboard's going to want to slide. So you don't want to just press this down really hard. You want to just gently touch the cardboard just a few times to get it to stick to the base paper, and then you're going to carefully carry this over to the drying rack to dry. And there you have your finished expressive or feeling picture using color, and how artists use color to show feeling. Good job, first grade.